when she asks any question from me or my mom, I always ask her. In her answer, I kind of take the middle ground and answer because end of the day, because they go to a school, you can't control who they see and who they talk to in school. They shouldn't go saying, I'm this and you're that, and that just becomes, that just really becomes a lot of confusion. So I just tell her her basic principles. And the other day she said, because she goes to a Catholic primary school, she said in the morning we pray. Everybody prays to Jesus, and she's like, but I do this and I pray to Allah, and so that nobody knows. And I say it within, so she understands that if she stands out, that she's gonna look different, and kids are gonna question. So she's not young enough to answer. So she told me that she within herself she goes, oh, I do this and I pray to Allah, but I don't want to show my friends because they might say I'm this or that. So I just told her, you can believe what you want and have as many friends, and I think when they come to a certain age, they will question, and then they can do their own research, and you can kind of help them where they want to see. So pretty much, yeah. That's all. Thank you. Sorry.
Well, totally agree with what the kids actually is, how you put a model to them. And well, I've been teaching sports and gymnastics for a lot of young kids. And well, I don't believe in, for myself, I don't have any religion or anything. But for me, it's just trying to give them a model that how I receive from the world and how I've grown up. Because I'm basically a Hong Kong Chinese, and also I got some English influence, and then we're just trying to get some the good thing from the different culture. That, well, I wouldn't say it's that will be my objective, my own objective way of thinking, good or bad, actually, and then and will be accepted for the majority of people. This is how I look at the good and bad, the judgment on that, and then we will just set a good model for the kids. For example, I will teach even a 2-year-old kid or 3-year-old kid coming to my gymnastic class. The first thing I will teach them to do is to put their shoes and socks nice and tidy together against the wall. So this is some basic thing, and I found it's really interesting because the kids will find it's really excited to do that, and is very, very happy and proud to do that. After they put it down, oh, wow, well done, you have done a good job. Look what you have done. And then to encourage them, just this simple task. I think kids love to have tasks. And then as an adult and also as a teacher, that I think is really important to set a good model for the kids, that to let them understand. And also, you don't just say good and bad or something. Well, they good, for example, in the sense that you feel is good, then you encourage them to do more. And then if they do something not as what you expected, you don't just say bad or something. You just let them feel and let them try to explore, and then say, and let them think and make it better. I think that is the way to try to raise a younger generation, and also to show them more good model and more example.
Okay. I've been trying to speak something for tonight. The main topic we have is really how we achieve peace. And the major part is try to find out who you are first. In finding out who you are and where you come from and where you're going, if you don't even know who you are, how can you teach? That is the major part of the problem I see in this world. I can understand that we are all energies. Energy with with thought, with wisdom, but wisdom with no experience. So it is important for us to find out who we are first. what are we doing here? What is our life in here? How can we use our wisdom to change the experience in here? And it is important to teach our children, as you say, but based on what? Based on wisdom or based on love? If you have compassion without wisdom, it's dangerous. I put an example. A child have a pet. In the winter, it was very cold, and he put hot water onto the pet because he feared the pet will get cold. So out of love and out of passion or compassion, it's dangerous without wisdom. So that is what I'm trying to say.
Something or to ask a question? The Buddhist who never keeps quiet. I want to go back to what we discussed previously about preferences, and I mean, the topic of homosexuality is something that I think, caused a bit of a discussion. So I'd like to share the Buddhist view on that. The Buddhist view is that all human beings are equal and have their own karma. So if you're born as a homosexual in this lifetime, that is your karma, like my karma is to be German and to be talking all the time. And it is not good or bad. It is just how you are. This is who you are and how you are. And Buddhism looks at homosexuality as it does look at any other relationship in the following way. It is mutual respect. So from a Buddhist perspective, a heterosexual relationship where the woman is beaten or the man is abused, I mean, we've had both cases where the woman beats the man and vice versa, where the relationship is based on animality, where people abuse each other and not respect each other, would be worse than a homosexual, loving, caring relationship where both partners respect themselves and live in harmony and live to create value. So from a Buddhist perspective, the question always is, are we creating value? Does anyone get hurt in this relationship? Do we make bad causes for our life? Like, if you hurt something or you kill something, it makes bad causes. So this is the way that, a Buddhist would approach this sort of situation. And I do respect that different religions have different views on this. And I also know that I have a lot of gay friends who are having a conflict with their faith because of that. Because they say, I believe in God, I'm a Christian, I'm God-fearing, I go to church, I do what I can in society, but my church does not embrace me because I'm different. And I don't know whether we as a society can afford to lose a believer just because of their preference. I'm not talking about abusing animals or creatures that don't have a way of consenting, and certainly sort of issues of bestiality or incest or child abuse does not fall into that. This is different. This is, like you say, something someone is born with. And I found that many of my friends that are gay have experimented with other relationships, and it just didn't happen for them and it didn't work. So I hope that each religion can look at their own rules and say, well, what is more important, a human being and a precious human being that contributes to society and lives a life of respect for others? Or is it really so important to stick to these principles and condemn that person? I don't know. I'm sorry Imam has already departed tonight, but I would like to ask that question, saying, what happens if an Islamic boy, let's say he's 17, 18, he discovers this? What happens? Do you know how that would go?
Thank you. There are a lot of, that has occurred a lot of times, and I can give you my personal perspective because I was not a religious person before.